Okay, day 82, Awan Contra, I should say. Part 1. I love the comments. I just read them all for all 6 episodes yesterday. And people simplify things out when they insult. They say, George, you're stupid. They're running the drugs through San Diego and they're running the arms through East Coast ports. Don't you get it? The CIA wants to sell arms and they, take drugs in the other side of the country. Are you that stupid? Okay, well, I don't necessarily accept that, so I keep drilling down. But I will have to agree, a lot of the metadata starts pointing there. Why all these San Diego offices and San Diego employees for the House of Representatives? Sue Foy, Imran Awan, Omar Awan. Hina Alvi spends time there. There's a lot of doctors that seem to come in and out of there. There's a lot of Social Security numbers of dead people in California that seem to come. There's a lot of people going to the University of California medical schools that seem to only come from certain countries, from China, Russia, or Pakistan, or India, or whatever. So it does kind of, there is a lot of metadata, I must admit, that points in that direction. So a couple of the pieces of metadata that I thought, the one person that to me collected all this is all State Department trade. A lot of these countries are under the control of the State Department. Iran is certainly. China, North Korea, Pakistan, all the stands really, all the former parts of the Soviet Union. And I thought of all the pieces here. You have Bruce Orr with China, and you have Carter Page and others with Russia, and you have Deep Uranium's take on the Russia, connection of this all. See if you can guess who this is. He's the advisor for Hillary as a senator from 2001 to 2009, right? So he's her key military political advisor, then a special advisor to the Secretary of State. Then he runs all the political military affairs for Department of State, approving all these weapons sales, uranium sales, various exports and imports to these people on the watch list or people that are being sanctioned by the State Department. And of course he leaves the Hillary White House and everyone goes to the University of Pennsylvania as an adjunct professor for a couple of months till they find a job, right? That's a standing contract they have. And then he starts this company called Beacon Global. See if you remember who it is. Well, if you don't remember, it's not Mike Morrell. It's not Jeremy Bash. That's Dana Bash's wife. It's Andrew Shapiro. It's Mr. Stinger. Mr. Ambassador Stevens in Benghazi. And I just started thinking how all these people are just in the same clutch. I guess I would call it game. There's this game that's running underneath the level, this white level here, and then there's this face that's running. Jeremy Bash at Beacon LLC's the face, and then there's all this game running down here below, like a submarine, of all these games. There's the Russia game, and the China game, and the North Korea game, and the Pakistan game, and the India game, and the Ukraine game, and all these games, these State Department games that are running, and it's all kind of being run through this Navy intel nexus. I'm not saying Masonic, but does seem to be a little Masonic clutch and secrecy involved, and that's where maybe the drugs going all the way back to the War of 1812 and all that stuff, and the secret slave trade and all that. It just seems like that. I'm just saying from a metadata point of view. And here you go. Here's your director of strategy at the House of Representatives. This is Omar Awan. Okay, and he's been there longer than Imran, as a matter of fact. He's been there since 2002, and a lot of these kids, they call themselves kids, come in from Booz Allen. A lot of people that Booz Allen hires are from CIA, Snowden being the most famous example, and a lot of them start at these kind of CIA analysis firms. CIA farms out 70% of their analysis, so they start them out there, see how they're going to work, bring them into Booz for a couple of years, and then if they're going to be somebody they want to place into, or you could say infiltrate or whatever, then they move them out of Booz and then kind of move them into more key positions. Once these folks are in here, this is more of a legitimizing, like a validation position where you can now bring in people from overseas and start. The Americans might look at it as infiltration. They might just looking at it as growing their business in America. And I'll give you an example of that. If you don't remember, Omar, he's making $146,000, senior business process analyst. He's running the PeopleSoft application. A person in a position like this is in a very good position of taking old profiles, decommissioning them and recommissioning them for new employees. You can also have people change their names to Muslim names. You can reuse old profiles. You can do fake loans. Once you have the fake paycheck, you got the fake car loan, you got the fake home loan, you got the fake business loan, you got just a wealth. Now, I'm not saying Awan is involved in that, but the other Awans certainly are involved in doing all those things I just said. Lots of fake employees, lots of fake car loans, lots of fake home loans, and lots of fake business loans, especially cell phone pop-up store business loans. Okay, so one of the guys we talked about yesterday was this guy named Malik Arif. And again, everybody kind of ends up on this Hawks Head, very close to that 7 address. This is 9667. You'll notice there's 3 6s there. You just flip the 9. It's kind of fun. That's just kind of like CIA fun. So there's a 2 there, and then you remember Imran was at the 7. Okay, and then there's this Oasis Technology. There always seems to be an IT company like Nanosat or whatever, and then there's always some kind of company that just kind of has this amorphous name. This one's Oasis. I'm not saying this is legal drugs. I'm not saying it's illegal drugs. I'm not saying it's animal pharma, but it always ends up like that. If you look at his picture, Malik, he's got the $5,000 watch standing next to his pool. That whole thing with the expensive car and all that. So anyway. So moving on, here's another guy. This is more on the IT side. This is not on the Oasis side, but more on the Signet side. And again, here we've got Omar working not only at the House of Representatives, but at the same time working at the District of Columbia, which is like a state, right? He's working in IT at the District of Columbia. Now remember, there was a scandal here, just like the Awan scandal, fake employees, fake billing, etc., in 2009, and that was Farouk Awan. So anyway, here comes the person from overseas. You get him the first job in IT in the government of DC, and then you want to move them on. You want to either move them up to the House of Representatives for a while to bolster their resume, because that sounds better, and then you want them to move on to being more of an influence. And this you shorten the name, get the suit, and then you become CEO. And this is kind of like a success here. He becomes a CIO coach, and then he starts doing audits, and he starts recommending audits, and he's a federal enterprise architect and so forth. And a very good businessman, I'm sure. And there's no problem with this as long as the background checking is there, and the interests of the United States are foremost in their thing. But again, these troubling things about all these people working in San Diego. Why? Why does the House of Representatives have this office in San Diego? Just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Now you may say, oh well, he's working for a rep in San Diego, etc. But it just seems odd to have a 202 number and then it reports to San Diego. Is this an early warning system for Andrew McCabe for the drug business? I don't think so, but it is weird that there's 2 strokes there. But then if you do searches on those strokes, these are the the people in the Navy and the people in the Coast Guard. There's no strokes there. So it's just odd. And again, Carter Page, you start drilling down. Everyone knows, he's kind of this Russia expert or whatever, supposedly spent like a week with Trump. But then you drill down and it's the same old thing. Navy Academy, he's in the Navy Intelligence, he's in Georgetown. This is the School of African and Asian and Oriental Studies in London. It's kind of got this, it just has that feel of CIA or CIA liaison knock kind of cutout. So anyway, the insults are good. Keep the insults coming. George, you're a dope. The dope is in San Diego and the weapons are going out of Charleston. You had it right the first time. Why are you trying to overthink this? Yeah, okay. I'll accept criticism, but let's keep an open mind. Keep collecting information. Keep collecting evidence, and we'll see where it goes.